get on our Facebook, Instagram, and all, as we're doing it right here for you in your community with Rainier Avenue Radio World. And God is an inspirational gospel music. Also, we're doing a lot of different things in your community. We give out free food. We give out a lot of things in the community. We do a lot of shows. We do a lot of things on the sports part, and we want you to come on out and tune us in and come to the community, and we do a lot of things in your community. So make sure you go to our website, Rainier Avenue Radio World, and also go to the God Is website and look us up and see what we do in your community, something maybe you might like. So come on by and check us out from 11 to 2. Free food giveaway.
You're listening to Rainier Avenue Radio World. I'm Granville Emerson along with my partner,
Ronald Pepe Bean.
And we host the show Little Line Sports right here on Rainier Avenue Radio World, where we talk about football, basketball,
Local sports,
national sports, Seahawks,
UW,
Seattle U Redhawks,
Garfield Bulldogs.
all that and more right here on Little Line Sports on Rainier Avenue Radio World.
Are you a cultural producer who has been impacted by the pandemic? For Culture is offering relief grants between $1,000 and $12,000 to cover your COVID-related losses and help you move forward with your creative work. If you're creating cultural experiences in any discipline at any stage of your career, you should apply. Exhibit designers, museum educators, archivists, restoration professionals, curators, archaeologists, history researchers, artists, and more. That means you. Not sure if you're a fit? Give them a call and they'll talk you through it. The deadline to apply is Wednesday, February 2nd. Head to forculture.org/recovery to get information on virtual group workshops, application support, language translation, and more. That's forculture.org/recovery.
You know you can't get enough of Rainier Avenue Radio World.
Welcome to Real Estate and Money, a half-hour program on Rainier Avenue Radio World, designed to help you whether you're a buyer, seller, investor, or renter in real estate. Your hosts are two local professionals who will escort you on your journey. Violeta Strash, who has years of media advertising and marketing experience and brings this extensive knowledge to John L. Scott Real Estate and all our clients. And Tina Lombard, who is a mortgage loan originator with Guaranteed Rate Affinity, with over 28 years of experience. And now here's Violeta and Tina.
Hello,
Hello, everyone. Hi.
Hi, everyone. Happy New Year.
Yes, Happy New Year to all.
Still, all month. Happy New Year.
All year. No.
Yes.
So how goes it, Tina?
Everything is going great. You know, we're back on a roll. Everybody seems to be in action. The holidays are behind us. And this is like the first week without any type of holiday interruption or vacations, and everything is full force. So it's going strong. Interest rates are rising. People are out there making offers like crazy. So it's a very, very good time. Mm-hmm. Yes. How about you? How's it going up there? Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's crazy busy too. And yeah, the tail end of this whole holiday thing. My son, who goes to school at Duke University, has not been able to get out of town. Alaska Airlines has canceled flights for the. He's been here a week extra.
Oh, dear.
Yeah, trying to get a paper done and published back, at Duke, but is able to do it from here. That's the coolest thing, that you can work remotely. And great. Yeah, he's been here. Needs to get back though.
Mm-hmm. Right. I know everybody's kind of scared or edgy about getting on airplanes because that's just been all over the United States. I know I've had friends who were stuck in Mexico, for like days on end, and they can't get back, so it's been crazy. I went to the mountains last week and I got caught in a blizzard and I could not drive back across the pass. So that was a lot of fun.
Did you have to wait for a few days or?
Yeah, thank God we actually got got to get to, we went to a hotel. It was kind of like a shadowy hotel and no internet present, nothing. And they charged us like $300.
Oh no, of course.
But it was either that or sleep in your car. So, so we had no choice.
Too cold for that, right?
Yeah. So it was crazy. So everybody has been kind of, cuckoo. Everybody's been kind of sick, and everybody is getting over COVID or something. It seems like everybody this week has been sick.
Yep.
This past couple of weeks.
I'm actually getting over a cold.
Oh, see? Okay. Yeah. So that was my Christmas and New Year's Eve story. So, yes. Yeah, I mean, it's like everybody is just ready for for the clouds to break open and come into spring, get back to business, get some mortgages going, some houses going, just get back to work, put a coat on and go outside. We're all looking forward to it.
Absolutely. Yes.
So V, do you have a market update this week? Or
I do. And first of all, I'm going to have Daniel share something that we publish at John L. Scott every month. And here's the Seattle update for the housing market.
Okay.
I don't know if there's any audio to this. I think it was just all a video.
Average listings. Wow.
Yeah, listings 77%. Pending right away almost. So there's your new interest rates, 3.29 right now. Mm-hmm. So it's time to buy before it keeps going up. Right?
Yes, indeed.
And then let me go over the 3 counties that we usually look at every week and give you an update on what's happening out there. Mm-hmm. For King County, active listings, we have 198 in the past 2 weeks. Because I didn't give the report last week, I decided to bundle it up and do a 2-week report. And sold homes in King County, 603 at an average price of $1,065,000 compared to a year ago, $1,056,000. And that's almost a 1% increase, 0.85% increase. And in King County, also looking at days on the market before these houses go pending, there's 25 last year versus 17 this year. So it's shorter times spent on the market. It's down 18 days. And then dollar per square feet for these homes, 405 last year versus 478 this year. And I'm talking December to December. So that's an increase of $73 a square foot. Now in Pierce County, we have 131 active homes on the market, and 409 homes have been sold in the last 2 weeks at an average price of $566,000 versus $557,000 the year before. And that's a 16% increase right there. Days on the market, 26 last year, 17 this past December. So again, it's down the number of days, 9 days, and things are still moving pretty fast, really quickly. Dollar per square foot. Last December was $235 a square foot. This year, $285 a square foot, up $50 a square foot. And last but not least, in Snohomish County, we have 80 homes that went active in the past couple weeks, and 318 homes have been sold. So that's like a lot of unsold inventory that was sitting and people snatching them up. Right now, the average price is $799,000. Last year, $734,000. And you know what? This went down almost 1% in price. Days on the market, 23 versus 24. This year, 9 days difference. And dollar per square foot, the end of December 2020, $285 versus the end of 2021, $354. That's $69 a square foot higher. So there you have it. Still really strong, and it's still, go out there and buy now as opposed to buying later. Yeah. Interest rates, this may be going down, but interest rates are going up.
Mhm.
So
Yeah.
we
Well,
need
yeah, and it's something,
to know.
because interest rates actually are just returning to normal.
Yeah.
Even 3.2 is very, very low. I
Oh,
can count.
yeah.
I've been doing this for 29 years, and I can count on my right hand how many times interest rates have gone below 3.6. I mean, it's, so 3.2, 3.5, 3.6, and actually it's a lot higher as of this, like the last couple of days. It's been a lot higher. Even down payment assistance programs are at 3.75 FHA, 3.625 FHA. So it sounds a lot higher than it was last year, but it is still extremely low. So they're actually normalizing. So it's still, just like V said, it's a very, very good time to buy. V, I don't know what's going on up in Washington State, but I know here people have been shying away from the market because the rates have risen. And now instead of qualifying for 500,000, maybe they qualify for 460 or 470. So a lot of people are getting gun shy, so to speak, and they're backing out of the market. So this last weekend, I've had several people make offers on homes, and there were only 2 other people competing with them instead of 14 or 20.
Wow.
So
I think
it's a very
we're
good
seeing
time.
a lot of that too here.
Yeah, people are thinking, okay, I'm freaking out. The rates are going up. I don't know what that means. I can't qualify for as much, so I'm going to back off until I figure it out. So a lot of clients are saying, I'm going to back off until I figure it out. And then you have the diehards that are like, hey, this is like Black Friday after Thanksgiving. There's nobody here in the store. I'm the only one here. Let's go. So we're finding people, if you really want to buy a house, I know it's been a rough couple of months, but right now is not the time to back down. Go find a house right now. The interest rates are only slightly higher, but because there's not as many people competing, instead of the price is running up from 400,000 to 480,000, it may not run up as fast. So you may be saving on the price of your house, even though the interest rates have gone up. Does that make sense?
Yes. To me.
Yeah. So people out there, you buy it, you want to make an offer on a house of 600,000, and because there's 20 people in line, that house is going to 610, 620, 630, 650, 680, sold for 700,000 because there's 20 people bidding on that house. Well, the interest rates are higher, so not as many people are qualifying. So instead of 20 people, you get a house, it's a 600,000, maybe they bid you up to 625,000. So even though the interest rates are higher, you're going to get a better price on the house. So it's all still fair game. And I tell a lot of people here, my secret to anything when you're buying in the wintertime, if it snows, especially if there's 6 inches of snow coming on the ground, and like Seattle had snow last week, right? A couple of weeks ago. That is when you look for a house, and that is when you make an offer because there is nobody out. Okay? So mind you, when it snows and you're a buyer, don't play games. Go out there. There is nobody competing with you. And the sellers are like, I'm out of here. I'm not shoveling any more snow. Whoever makes the first bid is getting the house. And basically, sellers are like that right now. They're like, listen, I don't care. So if it snows, if it's hurricane weather, whatever, it is to your advantage, Mr. and Mrs. Buyer. Go out there and make an offer on a home.
Plus, you can actually see some of the defects that won't show up during nice weather, right? There could be leaks. There could be damage in the basement that no one will mention because, hey, it hasn't been raining. So, I don't know. See mold show up.
Yes. Indeed. Yes. You're telling something that is very true. A lot of times when the roof is leaking, it's going to show in the wintertime. If there's a lot of leaves in the gutter, those clients, those sellers have not been taking care of the home. There's still leaves in the gutter. Stuff like that. If the basement's going to leak, it's going to leak now. So, so you need to put a sump pump or something like that in. You're going to find that out right now. But today, what are we going to be talking about, V? We're going to be talking about second homes.
Yeah, investments, homes, second homes, and what you need to do to get into that market. And sometimes right now, people are still at 5% mortgage rates. And it's like, God, go refi, figure out what you need to do, and maybe buy a second home, right?
Absolutely.
Money back. So tell us what we need to do to get into the secondary market.
Okay. So first of all, before the break, I'm going to tell you what the definition is of an investment property and the definition of a second home. And then after we come back from the break, I'm going to talk about the mechanics of getting qualified for either one. So what is the definition of a second home? And what is the definition of an investment property? A second home is basically your second home. Now, most lenders like Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and FHA say that you have to live about 100 miles away from your first property. A second home is a home that you're actually going to live in. It's not a home that you're going to rent out to. So you actually are living there and you're not expecting any rental income. So it's truly a second home. So let's say some people, they work in Seattle during the summertime, and during the winter, they actually go down to Florida or Texas or Phoenix or something like that. And they live there and they work from home there. That is truly a second home. A lot of people, they have homes in the city because during the week, they actually work inside the city. And on the weekend, they're out of here and they're up in Snoqualmie or they're at Port Orchard or something. And so they are actually, that is their second home. But it has to be classically, depending on the program, 50 miles away from your primary or at least 100 miles away. And that could be anywhere in the country. So a second home, you're living in it. You're not trying to rent it out. And you have to qualify for both of the mortgages. Now, for an investment property, you do not plan to live in it. You plan to rent it out. And so with these investment properties, there is an income element involved where you are receiving income for rent. So that could be Airbnb. It could be, just a duplex. It could just be a house that, you don't use and you rent out. But it's basically income driven and you do not live there. Now, there are some places like people own condos in Vail, they own condos in Aspen, or they own condos, like on Mercer Island or up the peninsula, the San Juans. And they live there part of the time. And the part of the time when they're not there, they rent it out. Okay, that's also considered an investment property, just depending on how long you live there throughout the year. And you've of course, talked to your loan consultant or your tax accountant on what defines the difference between living halfway of the year there and renting it out for the rest. Now, why we are so hung up on whether it is an investment property or a second home is because that is one of the biggest opportunities for fraud in mortgages, in the mortgage world. The biggest part of fraud is in investment properties and in second homes. And the reason being is a second home, you can actually buy with only 5% down. And we'll talk about that after the break. And investment properties, you classically have to put 15 to 20% down. So, and the interest rate for investment properties are higher because you don't live there. The interest rates for second homes are much lower because you do live there. So a lot of people, they're like, yeah, it's a second home. So they can only put 5% down and they have the best rate, the 3.29 rate. And so they're like, yeah, I'm going to live there. So, but that's mortgage fraud. It's mortgage fraud. So we want to stay away from that. So we're going to go ahead and hit the break. When we come back, I'll talk about the mechanics and V will answer some questions about investment properties and second homes.
Okay.
Tune in to Real Estate and Money every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3 here on Rainier Avenue Radio.world. Join your hosts, Violeta Strash with John L. Scott Kent North and Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity. They'll help you navigate the waters of our volatile real estate market and offer you some guidance on how to make your hard-earned money work to make your dreams come true. Learn about current trends, get tips on financial matters, and have fun, interactive discussions about your home inside and out. That's Real Estate and Money.
Okay, great. So V, I remember a while ago there, you actually had a home in, is it Cannon Beach or in Oregon?
Oh, in Seaside, Oregon. Yes.
Seaside. Okay. So tell us about that really quick, because I'm going to bounce off that story.
Oh, okay. Well, it was our vacation home. And in the beginning, we were there every weekend. The kids were young. We were there fixing it up. I met the owner just driving along the road and seeing a sign. And I'm going, oh, hey, can I actually, I needed to use a bathroom. So I needed an excuse. Do you know is this your house? Can I possibly come in and take a look? And I went in and looked around real quick and, oh, by the way, can I use your bathroom? So after that, I looked at the pink walls, the teal carpeting. It was in the smoke, just the dust on the ceiling and on the walls where the gentleman who owned the home sat and smoked his cigars. And it smelled like cat. And I saw beyond all that. And I said, you know what? I think I'm going to have our agent give you a call because this is a great home. It's a small home. It was probably the caretaker's home, because back in the day, these homes on waterfront were really long, with a long driveway to get to the big house up in front. And
Right.
then there was
Uh-huh.
like a caretaker's cottage.
Right.
And the family that had owned this parcel decided to split it up and sell the little house first. And, we didn't need that big of a home. And it's one house away from ocean front. And we got a great deal on that house. And we had some people in and out of there. It wasn't really a rental of sorts, but then we decided to rent it to visiting nurses, because through the years we kept going there less and less. The boys were too busy, and with all their friends and their sports and activities, all that. So we didn't go as often as every weekend, but we did make a point of going every other weekend, and then monthly, and then, months went on. And we rented it to traveling nurses a couple of summers. It's 3-month deals. And there are a lot of rules in Oregon where you have to jump through hoops if you're going to have a long-term vacation rental or whatever, because you're competing with all these vacation rental places, right, up and down the boardwalk. But anyway, we sold it in 2014 and we have regretted
that ever since. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
So in other words, you did buy it kind of like a second home. It was a vacation home for yourself. You actually lived in it back and forth. And then as life changed and everything, you turned it into an investment property, which became very profitable. And so right now that is a very, very big thing. And so people in the city during the whole pandemic, they don't want to be in a dense community. So they're saying, hey, I've got pounds and pounds of equity in this house. Let me go ahead and buy a house out by ocean shores, or, out, in the mountains over here in Colorado. And I have my city house. I can actually rent my city house if I want to, but I actually have both. So second homes are very, very prevalent when they come into vacation homes. When I was in Washington State at that time, a lot of people bought the second homes because they knew they were going to go ahead and retire in maybe 5, 10, 15 years. And that second home would now be their retirement home. And their house that they had in the city, they would either sell for a retirement or they would use that for investment property. So the mechanics of qualifying for a second home and qualifying for the investment property are somewhat similar, but just maybe one or two documentations that are different. So, of course, with every loan, you got to order the verification of employment, verification of income. We check your credit, check your assets, make sure you've got all the money and all the capabilities of actually being credit worthy. And we do the same thing for a second home. With a second home, sometimes you do put more money down because it's kind of like, if you got two homes and you couldn't pay a mortgage, you'll probably pay the mortgage on your first primary property before you pay the mortgage on the second. So the second mortgage is sometimes a little bit more risky. So sometimes you have to put more money down. With a second mortgage, you are going to have to, or second home, you're going to have to qualify for the first mortgage and for the second mortgage because there's no income offsetting that second mortgage. Okay, so you need to be very healthy financially. And a lot of people, surprisingly, do qualify for a second mortgage and don't realize it. You bought your house 18 years ago, and now your balance is $123,000. Your house is worth $1.2 million. And you're like, do I qualify for a second home? Yeah, probably. So if you do have equity in your house, and you're like, I'm out of the city, I'm out of West Seattle, or I'm out of downtown Denver, I'm out of here, I'm going to the lake or the mountains, talk to a loan officer and see if you will qualify for a second home. You'd be pleasantly surprised with the rates and everything, how much. And when you bought your first house, maybe you made half your income, 10 years ago. Now you make double your income. So maybe you qualify. Maybe even a little townhome, so a townhome up the mountains or in the peninsula somewhere. So you'd be pleasantly surprised how easily you'll qualify for a second home. The next thing is with an investment property, the down payment usually is the big indicator. So the down payment is 15 to 20%. So if you buy a house at say $400,000 and you have to put 20% down, that's $80,000 plus some closing costs. So maybe around $90,000 out of pocket. Okay. Now, are you going to qualify for the payments? Well, most likely, yes, because your mortgage is going to be here and your rent is going to be here. Mm-hmm. Okay. So if you have a mortgage at $2,500, make sure that you're in an area where you can actually rent the house at $2,700 or $3,000, or preferably 25% over what your mortgage payment is. So you're going to qualify if you stick to those rules. The trick is finding a house where the mortgage and the rent, the mortgage is less than the rent. And your friendly realtor, such as V, will be able to find that. So with an investment property, I think sometimes it's easier because as long as you've got that 20% cash down and you find a house where the mortgage is less than the rent, you're going to qualify. Of course, if you've got the credit and you've got the income, so on and so forth. Now, finding an investment property, and Violeta can attest to this, you can't just go out with any realtor because they'll say, oh, yeah, that's pretty. Oh, yeah, that'll work. But you want to find somebody who has experience with investment properties such as V, because they can tell you, hey, the rent on this and the power on that, and this is what's going to happen. We've rented out before. And this is what we've seen in the past that may be negating the advantages here. So you want to make sure you find a realtor like Violeta who's actually had a second mortgage, had a second house, and had an investment property, because they can tell you the ins and outs of credit qualifying, of investment management, so on and so forth. Now, the last thing I want to talk about with investment properties is if you do have an investment property and you've never done this before, but you want to buy a duplex. Last week, I looked at a fourplex here for like $500,000. And I was like, I'm there.
What?
Yes, but unfortunately, the gentleman had never raised the rent in like 13 years. And like the rent was something like $500 or $600 a month. I'm like, okay, no, it's going to cost me. It's going to take 10 years for me to recoup, But, there's things like that you want to consider. A lot of times when you do buy rental property, if the rental property is vacant or if the house is vacant, the appraiser will go ahead and tell you what the rent is for that area. And we will use a rent without you having to have a lease agreement in hand. So investment properties, if you have extra spare money and you're in these hot markets like Seattle or Denver or Dallas or somewhere like that, Boise or something like that, yes, see if you got a down payment, see if it's worth your while, because you may make a lot of money in these areas with appreciation of real estate. And you can qualify just as easily. It takes 1 or 2 days to get qualified for those investment properties. So give me a call if you have any questions on that, especially ladies. You want a good investment? Of course, real estate is a top of the market. So give me a call. We can talk you through something. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, because again, one way to do it is to refi your own house if you're going to get another one. And Tina can get you through all of this. So if any questions,
yes, I've been having people taking out. Yeah, you know this, V. I've been telling people take it, refinance, take the cash out, and just buy your investment property cash.
Yeah.
So,
why not?
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot of ins and outs that Tina can help you with. So please, before you buy an investment property, a second home, or even your first home, make sure you get pre-approved. I always say that because it's so much easier to know before you go out there searching that you have that price in mind, because you won't have any leverage if you go in and try to put an offer and you come back and, oh, I don't qualify for that. Never mind. Sorry. Waste of everybody's time. So let's not do that. Just go get a clear understanding of what you're
Yes.
Tina is there to help 24/7, right, Tina?
And you know what? Yes, exactly. I mean, you know what? It is easier to get a loan approval than it is to go get your teeth cleaned at a dentist. Okay, it's not that scary. People are like, oh my gosh, to get approved for a loan, I'm so scared. It's not all that. You just fill an application. We look at your stuff. It's not that hard. It's harder to go and trim the landscaping and put new rockery out in your front yard than it is to go ahead and
absolutely
get approved for a loan. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So, anyways, we got 1 minute. What do we got, V?
On Rainier Avenue Radio, we're broadcasting live the Metro League boys basketball game. Number 7, O'Day versus number 1, Garfield. That should be an exciting game. And then, I don't know, just right after this, we've got, what is the name of that show, Daniel? I'm looking for it. Oh, When You Meet a Leader at 3 p.m. with host Vashda Sharma. Out there from the 14th through the 16th, events happening: Monster Jam at the Tacoma Dome, and on the 17th, Free State and National Park Day. discoverpass.wa.gov and ps.gov, and that's it for events in the Pacific Northwest. How's that?
Nice.
Thank you
So-
all for joining us today on Real Estate and Money with Tina Lombard with Guaranteed Rate Affinity, and I am Violeta Strash with John L. Scott. We look forward to seeing you next Tuesday, 2:30.
Bye-bye. Thanks, Daniel.
You've been listening to Real Estate and Money with your hosts, Violeta Strash and Tina Lombard. For more information, call 206-717-4490. That's 206-717-4490. Go to the Rainier Avenue Radio.world website to find the Real Estate and Money schedule, or tune into our live show every Tuesday afternoon from 2:30 to 3. We will help you find your dream home.